Call the meeting to order. Commissioner Brandhurst, would you do the invocation, please?
Yes. Heavenly Father, fill us with your spirit and courage so that we may bring our talents and gifts to this important work. Open our minds to the task at hand. Open our ears to each other. Open our hearts to your will, and make this prayer in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do the roll call.
Commissioner LeBlanc present.
Commissioner Brandhurst present.
Commissioner Gardner present.
Commissioner Becker present.
Commissioner Gleason was not able to attend tonight. Is there any citizen participation?
Does she want to call in?
Apparently not.
Oh,
Is there any citizen participation tonight? Mr. Slavin.
Good evening. Ed Slavin, box 3084, edslavin.com. Just want to congratulate Mr. Mazzata for winning and Ms. LeBlanc. And welcome, Ms. Chair Gardner. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And there's a lot that you're going to be doing next year. I look forward to it. But I think tonight, because Vice Chair Gleason isn't here, there's a lot of stuff that I think maybe you want to continue until December or January, I recommend, just in the interest of comity and courtesy. And that would include the closeout on the DVEC and the sit lab. And because I think Vice Chair Gleason needs to be heard on those. And there's a lot to it, and the report is late, so let's not rush into things. And have some concerns about open records. Ms. Myers responded to me a little while ago. I'm looking forward to what she's going to be providing us, I guess, next month. And we just need to make sure that all of our employees who handle money or deal with financial issues are properly bonded, and that's not currently the case. And I don't know why, but we're waiting on records on that. And this district has a very important public health function, and it needs to be taken seriously. We need to make sure when we hire an attorney that it's the best one we can get. And I'm concerned that the Florida Bar Journal ad was not exactly what we need to have as far as putting our best foot forward. I don't think anybody reading that Florida Bar Journal ad would know what the mosquito control district is or what it does or why the attorney position is important. So I would strongly counsel and urge that y'all repost the ad, make it a little more lengthy and discursive, and tell people what AMCD is all about. Because right now we have an attorney who doesn't really know what she's doing, and she's withdrawn her request to have her contract renewed. Likewise, with the auditors, had a couple conversations today. I think when you meet in January, you'll be talking about the audit hiring committee. They need to make sure that we have people on that committee who are fully qualified. And there's one candidate I'd like to suggest you all consider for the audit committee, and that would be Todd David Neville, who's a CPA. He's the former vice mayor of the city of St. Augustine, and he was the chair of the State Board of Administration Audit Committee for a couple of years, however long he was on that. It's a term-limited position, but I left a message with his office today. And, of course, he and I disagreed on a lot of stuff in the city of St. Augustine over the years. But I respect his talent as a CPA, as an accountant, and he's educated, and I think he can give you some good recommendations as to people that you might want to consider as the next auditor. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Mazzati.
Good evening. TJ Mazzata, AMCD seat 1, elect commissioner-elect. I want to thank everybody on the board and in the building within the facilities that do such a great job here. Thank you guys if you supported me, and thank you if you didn't. It's very good to see everybody. I'm looking forward to working with everyone here, and I hope this message finds everybody well. And thank you to everybody who came as well. I do have one objection to the order of operations today. In unfinished business, section 8, number 2, to my understanding, Richard Weaver, I believe, had the flu and was tasked to provide some information on the SIT and DVEC closeout. I would like to respectfully request that the same courtesy be extended to the board with the closeout being moved to the December meeting, if that would be okay.
What's that? Which one?
I'm sorry, the SIT
Which one
and
you want
DVEC.
moved to December?
The SIT and DVEC. Section 8, number 2, unfinished business.
Mhm.
So I know Commissioner Gleason is ill today, and she couldn't be here, so I think it would only be suitable and fitting for all of the commissioners to be here present during that discussion and during those decisions that are being made. Thank you.
Ms. Myers, could I ask you for your opinion on that?
It's your agenda. If you want to table it to another meeting, you certainly can. It's up to the pleasure of the board.
Is this something we need to vote on? And with the appropriate time, I guess, would be when we get to unfinished business.
So you can do it on approval of the agenda if there's new items to add or items to delete, or you can do it when you get to that item and can entertain a motion to table it until December.
All right, thank you.
We don't vote on citizen participation.
Can I get approval on the, do we have any other public comment?
You have to approve the agenda before the consent.
Oh, I'm sorry, approval of the agenda.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
I'd like to add an item to new business number 1. I'd like to discuss commissioner Christmas bonuses. Commissioners, this district was formed in 1981. The commissioners have been paid the same amount of pay since 1981. Never an increase. The only opportunity we have for any additional income is the Christmas bonus. And I think it should be something that we vote on, something that's not automatic.
Okay.
So I want to add it to new business number 1.
It's part of that. It's part of number 1.
Pardon?
All the statement that you just made is included in new business number 1. So we don't need to add anything.
Employee, okay, it says holiday checks and bonuses.
Yeah, did you read the paperwork already?
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's in,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
so we don't get confused.
right. So can we get approval of the agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
All right. Second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Okay. All right, can we have approval for the consent agenda?
Make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that. All in favor? Okay. All right, moving on to unfinished business. Mr. Lohr?
Good evening, Don Lohr with Herbie Wiles Insurance, here representing the employee benefit renewals for January 1, 2025. We received the renewal offers from the insurance companies a number of weeks ago. We did our normal due diligence and shopped and came up with a proposal to submit to the insurance committee. Fortunately, on the group medical coverage with Florida Blue, we had a great renewal offer of less than 1% increase, 0.85%. So almost a flat renewal, which is amazing. It showed that the medical plan is working the way it's intended to work. So that was great. But we did provide other options in addition to just renewing as is. We also got a rate decrease on the dental insurance from the insurance company, which is United Concordia. And then we got a flat renewal on no rate change at all on the group life with Guardian. So it was a great renewal this year, and we presented that to the committee, and I believe there's a recommendation to renew all lines of coverage as is.
So I know this is going to be kind of like a tricky question for you to answer because you work for Herbie Wiles and not the insurance companies. But Blue Cross and Blue Shield has been having a bit of a tiff for a lot of doctors that are in our area, particularly with Baptist. Now I think they said you could only see a specialist if you have Baptist hospital. Is there any updates? Did a resolution? Because that's like half of the doctors in
Right.
the area for our employees that are just like gone.
It's a great question. So this is not the first time that a major insurance company and a hospital or healthcare system have had, a contract that comes up for expiration or renewal where they've had a disagreement, and, it's a battle over money. And so yes, Baptist Health System and Florida Blue were in a contract negotiation battle, which lasted quite some time. Fortunately, in the 12th hour, they did come to resolution. So all of the Florida Blue plan, the Florida Blue plan that you have, which is Blue Options, which is a PPO, not an HMO, is still in the Baptist network, and there was no change between last year and this year because of that resolution, because of the agreement they came to. The only products that they didn't accept, Baptist doesn't accept of Florida Blue, are like Medicare Advantage plans, Medicare HMOs, and things like that. But it has no impact on your medical plan at all. You can go to Baptist just like you could the year before. So that worked itself out, thankfully.
Okay.
Now, just in general, not pertaining to you all, but in general, this happens quite a bit. It happened, and it's still going on with UF Health Flagler and United Healthcare and Aetna, both of which they still haven't come to an agreement, Flagler and Aetna and United Healthcare. So unfortunately, this happens periodically when a contract comes up for renewal. Everybody wants more money, and they bash heads until they come to an agreement. So we were grateful that Florida Blue did come to an agreement with Baptist, and that there's no concern of that for the district employees at all.
If something happened where all of a sudden they did that again in the coming year, could we cancel the plan and get a new person if our employees lose their doctors, or you think that's just settled and it's done completely?
Well, thankfully it's settled for quite a few years because, the contract is now inked and the agreement's made. So it can't happen all of a sudden. But if in the future there is another contract renewal and they don't come to an agreement, then yeah, we can change carriers at any time of the year we want. Even though the plan anniversary and renewal right now is January 1, it doesn't keep us from shopping and changing carriers any time of the year we want.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the commissioners, we don't participate, we're not allowed to participate in this insurance. So for me personally, I have Delta Dental Insurance, and the same thing is kind of happening with that program, which is different than this, the United
Right.
Cornita
Concordia.
plan. Is that something that's happening in the entire dental insurance world as well, or is it just my carrier? Because
Yeah.
again, I don't want our employees that have a dentist.
Sure.
I was terrified of dentists for a
Right.
long time. When I moved here from Greece, a dentist glued my baby tooth to my permanent tooth and messed up my teeth and all this. So it took a long time for me to trust dentists. So if any of our employees have that, I don't want them to
Yeah.
lose the dentist they've made a good rapport with.
Sure, and that's a great question too. So it does happen in dental just like it happens in medical. Traditionally in our area, Northeast Florida, a lot of your name brand dentists don't participate in dental plans. However, when we design a dental plan for a customer, we always design it to be the same level of coverage in or out of network. So whether they go to a network provider or not, it's the same percentage of coverage, okay? Because we know that most name brand dentists don't take any dental plans. So if we penalize the employees because they had lack of choice, that wouldn't be fair. So we design dental plans to be the same percentage in network as if you go out of network, okay? The only advantage to going in network versus out of network is that the dentist must accept the insurance company's reimbursement rate for their services. For example, if you go to a dentist in network, they bill $100 for a cleaning, which is not going to happen anymore. It's more like $150. Well, let's just say $100 for a cleaning. They send that to the insurance company. The insurance company says, well, thank you very much, but we allow $80 for a cleaning. They're going to pay 100% of $80, not 100% of the 100, okay? If the dentist is in network, they have to accept that $80 as payment in full, and they can't balance bill the patient. But if they go to a non-participating dentist, then the dentist is not obligated to accept the $80 reimbursement rate from the insurance company, so they can potentially balance bill the patient above the allowed amount. It rarely happens in dentists.
That happened to me.
Yeah, I mean, it happens in medical all the time, but like my dentist has never been on any of my dental plans, and they've always agreed to accept the usual and customary amount of my insurance plan because it's a reasonable amount, okay? And most good quality dental plans will pay the out-of-network dentist enough to make them happy where they're not going to have to balance bill. But when we design plans, we design it to be the same level of coverage in network as it is out of network.
And for the coverage, does this include the yearly cleanings and x-rays, any sort of like crowns or
Right.
like,
So
could you tell it? Because I don't see it on the paper.
sure. So there's 3 levels of coverage in dental plans. There's preventative, basic, and major. Preventative are your cleanings, x-rays, fluoride twice a year, okay? In this case, it pays 100% whether you go in network or out of network for all your preventative care, okay? Basic services, which is the next level down, those are things like fillings, extractions, and services like that. Those are also paid at 100%, in or out of network, okay? And then you have major services, which are crowns, bridges, dentures, big things. And those are paid 50%. The member pays 50 and the insurance company pays 50, whether you go in or out of network. So you all have what's called a 100-100-50 plan. 100% preventative, 100% basic, 50% major. The standard, the normal dental plan is 100-80-50. So we actually have 20% better coverage in the basic category than the average dental plan, which is 180-50. Okay, so those are the 3 levels
Is
of
there a
coverage.
cap of like
Yes,
get
there's
one crown a year or
Yeah,
something?
there's
I don't know what it is now.
there's an
But-
annual maximum benefit of $2,000 per person per year.
Okay.
Yeah, which is slightly above average. 1,000 is kind of like the run of the mill, and 1,500 is a little better, and 2,000 is better than that.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have
Thank
a very competitive dental plan, and
Could you kind of do the same thing with the health? Like, does that cover the preventative measures and
right,
basic care? If they get sick, they can go to the doctor, major expenses?
sure. So
I know there's too many things
Yeah.
to list, but just the general.
thankfully, all medical plans in the country under the Affordable Care Act require that preventative services be covered at 100% with no cost to the member. No deductible, no copay, no nothing. The federal government defines the definition of preventative care, not the insurance company. So Florida Blue doesn't define what preventative care is. The federal government defines that. And then it's based on your age and gender. So, pap smears for females, mammograms. For everybody, at least once a year, it's a physical exam, okay? Then depending on your age and gender, it can be more. Prostate checks, pap smears, mammograms, depending on your age and gender. So the government has a chart that says, this is your age, this is your gender, here's what you're allowed to have under preventative care. As long as it meets those guidelines, it's covered 100% with no cost to the member at all, okay?
And with
that's
the
on every
incoming
health.
administration, and kind of the different agencies that they're looking at downsizing, is something like that federal mandate, do you think that's gonna be an issue for this coming year, or maybe the year after that?
I don't think it's going to be an issue ever, because even though there are disagreements about aspects of the Affordable Care Act, like nobody disagrees about the fact preventative should be covered at 100%. I've never seen much conversation about that, so I would not expect that to change. Because that's pretty unanimously accepted. So outside of preventative care, the plan that we have now, and we have had for a number of years now, is a $3,500 deductible, 100% coverage after your deductible. So the employee pays all the claims underneath their deductible. The insurance company pays 100% of the claims after their deductible. However, it's a health savings account qualified plan. So in addition to having the medical plan, the district provides an allotment of HSA funds in the person's HSA bank account. That money that goes into that account every year is used to pay your claims underneath your deductible. So essentially, once you build up $3,500 of money in your HSA account, you pretty much have 100% coverage. And it's a great plan. It's a great concept. It's worked. It's allowed us to keep our rate down, to very minimal rate increases. The average rate increase I've seen this year for my January 1 renewals, outside of y'all, has been double digits, like 14 to 16%. So opening the envelope and getting a 0.85 is really shows me that the plan is working.
Oh, that's excellent.
And
And does the plan have things where they could maybe get discounts if they complete their yearly exam, or if they do certain things?
Florida Blue does offer to its members, gym memberships, and they have perks and dollars that you can earn and build up by doing certain preventative measures. All of those tools and resources are accessible to the employees on their member portal at floridablue.com. So once they register for their member portal, they can access all those tools and resources, which are made available by Florida Blue to the member. And it's a wealth of great resources for them.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Oh. It's because I was trying not to yell tonight. I try to not be as loud. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. Any more discussion or questions? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to renew our insurance policy with Herbie Wiles to accept the Florida Blue Plan 5071, the dental insurance of United Concordia plan, and the life insurance plan for Guardian Life Insurance. And that is...
And I'll second.
What is it?
I'll second.
I was just trying to find the total, but,
We're in the middle of a vote, so give us,
okay, but I make motion to accept the things.
okay. And we have a second? All in favor?
Public comment before a vote. It's in 286. Ed Slavin, box 3084. Just wanted to inquire of the insurance company through the chair. Is there any sort of waiver of our 7th Amendment right to jury trial? And is there any sort of arbitration clause? Thank you.
I'm not familiar with an arbitration clause. Ms. Myers, are you?
I haven't seen your policy documents to know if one is contained in there or not.
Mr. Lore?
I'm not familiar with an arbitration clause. as I would define it, would be that if you had a dispute with the insurance company, you could seek arbitration. And that, I believe, would be made available on any health plan in the state. But I'm not 100% sure exactly what it would look like and what the language would be. And I'm sorry, the first one was to waive your Seventh Amendment rights, and I can't comment on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Pardon me?
Could I get a copy of the policy?
Sure.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Lord. All right. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr.
you're
Lord.
welcome.
Appreciate it. All right. Mr. Weaver, you're up.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, we switched 2 and 3?
It'll take just a second for the,
But it's not.
Is this the same that's in the book, or this is updated?
I'm honestly not sure.
Are these the same?
The resolutions there.
Ah,
But we're saying, are these graph numbers the same as the ones in our book? Or
No
this is
numbers have
updated?
this is
changed.
updated?
Okay.
Okay.
and they'll be on the screen. All right, so SIT and DVEC closeout. We'll start with the SIT. So the original contract was approved by the board and signed by the chair August 12th, 2021 for a contract of $2,099,361. The original approved contract by the board included a 10% cost overrun allowance of $209,000, $936.10. After the design portion of the contract was completed, additional costs were added. Contract change was approved by the board and signed by the chair June 16th, 2022. The change was for $546,690. And then we had the addition of a cold room to the contract, which was approved by the board and signed by the chair April 11th, 2024 at $140,000. Construction was significantly delayed due to procurement issues throughout the building process. Wasn't as happy with Harold as I have been in the, yes, got a question?
The cold room, that's in the SIT building.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
This is all SIT, starting with SIT. DVC, I'll get to when we get there. So anyway, construction was delayed due to procurement issues. I wasn't as happy with Harold's work as I have been in the past. They were slow, they were sloppy, and they didn't have staff on site as much as they should have. We moved into the building in spring of '24. All major construction was completed October of '24, so basically just done. There are still a few outstanding punch list items that we're working on, and the retention check will be held until these items are addressed or completed. Okay, so this is the breakdown of the costs by fiscal year, and it really starts with 21-22, and these are all the numbers that I just spoke to you about. So as you're looking at that, oh, my back one never came on. Jesus.
It came on.
It came on, I think it's,
We've had issues.
Yeah, just this one should be fine. Richard, don't worry about it.
Okay, so these numbers are the numbers that we spent. These numbers are the numbers that the board approved, and I just went over those numbers. So the amount spent from the allowance, we ended up with a under budget of $80,397.16. So we did well with that one. All right, it's back up back here too. Also, with this project, we had a cost tax saving plan that went along with it. So basically, when there was a large procurement, AMCD would purchase that item, and then Harold would reimburse us the purchase cost plus the tax, because we can purchase tax-free, they cannot. So during the project, we did save $47,091.91 by using this tax savings plan. That helped with the positive budget at the end. All right, that's it for the SIT. Is there any questions on the SIT project? It's basically
Anybody have
done.
questions or comments about?
Are we 100%, or how close are we?
Just a couple punch list items. It's done.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it looks fantastic, and I can't wait for us to be able to start making our own Wolbachias and SITs and helping out the rest of our state members.
Alrighty, so I had a bigger history section, but I was asked to cut that out, so I did. But just when we come to the bids history, the original bids, we had 2 bids that were acceptable, 1 bid that was thrown out. Compass bid was for $2,500,240. Harold was for $3,784,000. The Compass final contract price, including their supposed tax savings, ended up being a contract price of $2,469,355. So that was the original. So again, I have a spreadsheet that goes with the amount spent by fiscal year. So again, the amount spent is up here, and then the amount allowed by the board is down here, and then we have the numbers. So to date, we have spent $3,967,622.79. Okay, so that is the project that we're currently working on, building out the DVEC. To get the actual total cost, we have to remember that the board did it in steps. So we had a site plan and build. That's how we started. That was at $288,877.45. Then we had the building design at $173,79.98. And then the current build, which is the number that I just gave you. And these 2 spreadsheets I'm showing up here are from those projects, the site plan and build and the building design.
Richard, excuse me for a second. TJ, do you have a copy of this?
I do.
So, okay. All right, I was going to give you my copy if you don't. All right, I think it's important for you to see.
Something different on the screen than what I had on the paper.
Ah.
So, my apologies.
Oh, that's okay. I just want to make sure that you could see it.
Thank you.
Okay, so the total cost today is $4,426,880.22. Okay, so the current status, the budget allowed in the May 2024 resolution was get my numbers right here. We were allowed 310, and then 46,571 for a total of 356,571. And at this point in time, we have $903.73 of that money still open. We also have 2 invoices that have been submitted after the close date or the stop work date, and those total $9,350. Those 2 invoices are just sitting in limbo at this point. They have not been paid. They're just hanging out. It's important to note that all uncompleted displays are at least partially completed, and they're in various stages of completion. So all the displays that aren't finished, we have money invested in them, but they're not finished. So what do we need to do to finish, to get this thing behind us, to be completely done? The money that was given in May did not quite make it. There's a number of reasons for that, stemming all the way from the beginning, and me thinking that I was just giving a guesstimate, and then that turning it into a very hard number that I never expected it to be, but it is what it is. I'm not going to make excuses. So what you're seeing is I'm going to show you a spreadsheet at the end, but I'm showing you each line and what we're talking about. So in section 4, we have the timeline wall, and you can see the timeline's up there now. But there are 2 pieces that are not finished. One is the tablet, and you can see the interactive tablet there. We need to build that whole video out, and then when it works, it will tie into that line that you see is a lit line. The infrastructure is there. The programming is basically paid for, but we need the data on the tablet to be able to make that function. So when you look at something on the tablet, it will light the timeline up to where you're looking at on the actual timeline.
Richard? So for the tablet, just so those that haven't been in the center yet to see, so the tablet, the information that's on the tablet had to be made from scratch. This isn't something
Everything in the education center is made from scratch.
So that means it's never been done before. So now we have the tablet, and that is going to correlate with that white line across. So when they push something on the tablet, it's going to light up that white line.
Correct.
Okay.
Section 5 is the children's section, and the ant farm has been a challenge, I will say. It has been fun, but we've gotten really, really close. It's really cool, and you can see the kind of holes sitting right here. Those have metal panels that are done, but we painted them, and they just don't look great painted. So we can take and print on them these little designs because they match these. So these match these, and it's a magnet game. So the kids take the magnets off of the wall and put them into the actual ant farm. It's interactive. The magnets are done. Everything's done. I just need printing put on those pieces of metal and the metal installed. So it's close. And then on the is it an insect? I'm missing, we had to change type of spider. The one that we had chosen didn't live long enough. We went back to the original, which was a tarantula. So we didn't print the tarantula. We printed the banana spider, so I got to reprint and put the correct spider on there. And then one of the other little circle dudes here has the wrong insect on it too, so we need to correct that. Again, a lot of what we're doing is just finishing out, closing up the displays. Section 7, where the fish are, we have a sign that is in the warehouse and almost complete, but it isn't been installed yet. We have the pollinators TV thing here. This has voice or sound. You don't want the sound to run all the time because it bleeds. So we need a stop-start button. So we need to put one so that people can walk up to it, push the start button, listen to it, and then it's just not there playing when there's no one watching it.
Like the larva one when you walk in by the magnifying glass?
Yes, exactly, like the Section 3 one. And then we have another screen that needs video content. Like I said, Pollinator has the content, but the one that's in the good bugs section, that one still needs the content. We've actually found the content, but it needs to be pulled from its source and then put into a working order. So we need to move forward with that. Section 10, that's the big one that needs a lot of work. It's not a big giant project. It's not anything super fancy. It's military, AMCA, FMCA, and the history of mosquito control. We also have a screen in this section which is part of the history of mosquito control. So that's this section and this one screen. So again, that's what I have outlined as costs right here.
Does that screen touch the floor or it sits like above where that desk is?
That's at its height, but that desk won't be there. That's there just for the
Yeah.
employees. Right now, they're doing some pinning. And then in section 11, it's basically a vision statement, which is just a printed statement. We have them throughout the museum. All of the different statements that have to do with our district are placed throughout the different portions. We need a donor plaque. We need to thank the people that have donated money and stuff. And outside, we need a beehive sign. A lot of these things we kind of built in order, so, you know, the outside stuff is coming last. So this is the entire spreadsheet of all the things that I just showed you. These are pretty good guesses. I think we're going to be able to complete it for that number right there. So I am coming to you, as promised and as asked by the board, that if I needed more money to talk to you, so I'm here to say that if we want to close it out and finish it out, we're going to need about $50,000 more. I really think it can be finally closed for that. I really wish that the first estimate had been perfect. I really wish that we hadn't run into the issues that we did with the contractor and all the other things that happened. I wish it hadn't flooded during the hurricane. There's a lot of things that have happened on this project that have been no fun at all, but we're here, we're at the finish line. I had to stop everyone from working. They're finding other jobs. We're going to lose a lot of them. I don't want to lose these people. I want to finish up with them, thank them, you know, give them the pat on the back, and give you guys the product that you deserve. So, needed to finish. These are numbers. So the build-out cost, like I said, I've got some outstanding invoices currently sitting on my desk that have not been processed for $9,350. Work that's not invoiced or hasn't been done is what I'm guessing to be $50,350. I have submitted and am expecting a donation of $10,000 from Terminex. My fingers are crossed. I haven't gotten it yet. So that'll bring my cost hopefully down to $49,700, but we'll see where that goes. I'm not going to count on the donation until it's in the bank and that, you know, you guys have it. So that would take the total cost, the site plan, which we've already talked about, the building costs, the DVEC, the additional 49 would bring the total to the 4,476,580.22. And this note here, which I think is quite interesting, if Harold had been awarded the bid plus 10%, that would have been $4,162,400. So the total build cost, not total cost, build cost, remember the difference, is at $4,017,322.79, which is under the Herald bid number still. So I'm pleased about that, actually. And it's also important to remember that we spent over $100,000 probably repairing Compass's shoddy work, and that's not counting the amount of hours that our employees worked fixing that. They did a horrible job. We had to fix so much stuff. I'm still running into issues with that. So, you know, it is what it is.
Does anyone have questions?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got some statistics here at the end, just that we've had 8,870 people through since the beginning of the year. Our numbers on Google are really good. It's a very popular place. It's very well received. And yeah, questions?
Commissioner Becker?
How many of these centers are in the United States?
None.
None. And how many museums have you built before?
0.
How many education centers have you built before?
0.
Are you a project manager?
Not by trade.
So it's easy to say that it was rough guesstimates that we all took part in to try to figure out what it would take to make this building what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my only question for Richard.
I just want to make a comment.
Yes.
I am incredibly proud of this education center. I mean, it's just, everyone really pulled together. It is amazing. And just when I think it can't get any better, it does. And I want to thank you and everyone who participated in this. This is amazing. This is a gift for St. Johns County. And it's something that's going to help prevention, you know, and it's just, we can't even imagine what it's going to accomplish in the future. So I think this is wonderful. And I would like to make a motion to approve the $50,350, I think is the quote, to close it
Second.
out.
Okay.
I also have some comments.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Commissioner Becker.
I don't know where my paper went, sorry. So it looks like we're having about, or we will have, around 10,000 people a year visiting this education center. And I think that $50,000, if we're talking about big picture money, this is nothing to a business or a government agency. $50,000 is something, don't get me wrong, but I'm talking about in the whole scope of our budget, in the whole scope of what government agencies do, $50,000 is not much. We also just heard that the CIT, you saved us $80,000 total? Is that the right number?
On the SIT?
Yeah.
47, I think it was.
Oh, 47. So almost the 50.
But
And
we were
then
80,000 under budget.
Right.
80,000
project.
under budget. And really, the big chunk of this 50,000, like Richard showed us, was Section 10, which Section 10 is mostly about the military. In my opinion, I think they should probably get the best wall in the whole place. More members of the military have died from war related mosquito viruses than they have of injuries from war. So I think it's a very important thing to have here. And that section alone is going to cost about $23,000. So 23 out of the 50 is just for that area. I think it's well worth it. And that's all. Thank you. I think we had public comment.
Mr. Slavin, go ahead.
Well, I've loved this project since I first saw the script in Jeannie Moller's house at the lunch table. I was very impressed with the way it's been executed. I would, however, like to ask the board to table this until the next meeting next month so that Commissioner Vice Chair Gleason can attend and be heard because she has some concerns, I know. And I'd like to have the board, the chair, through the chair, ask the attorney to examine what are our potential contractual rights and remedies under the arbitration clause that we're stuck with in these contracts. Is there any way we could go to arbitration and get some of our money back? And also, as
The
a...
board voted against that.
I'm sorry?
The board voted against that. like,
Could someone who
a
voted
couple years
against
ago or
that...
something, 'cause I tried to bring that up.
Okay, well, someone who voted in the wrong could move to reconsider under Robert's rules. I'd suggest you all do that. But most importantly, as a grace note, several meetings ago, as I understand it, Mr. Weaver called Commissioner Gleason a liar. And that was uncouth, uncool, and unkind, and should not be tolerated, and the staff should not have been allowed to do that. And Mr. Weaver has apparently not been back to one of these meetings ever since. And that is just so wrong. I'd like to see Mr. Weaver apologize to Ms. Gleason, Vice Chair Gleason. And I think that's not too much to ask. And this can easily be postponed 1 or 2 more months, at least until December, and allow Commissioner Gleason to be heard, because we need to respect dissenting views. We need to respect her expertise on financial matters. And I think it was wrong for Mr. Weaver to call her a liar. And I think time has proven that Commissioner Gleason was correct. So those would be my comments. And if there's any way somebody on the other side of this motion where the board didn't join you, if somebody could move to reconsider, I don't know why we wouldn't use our contractual rights and remedies. And the lessons learned from this is never again should a government agency in St. Johns County ever waive our 7th Amendment rights to jury trial, which Justice William Rehnquist said was a bulwark against oppression. And if we could ask our attorney to maybe review the paperwork and be prepared to talk about it with us at the next meeting, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Slavin. All right, we have a motion and a second.
What is the exact motion?
To approve the 50,350 to
Can-
close out.
Can we ask Ms. Myers, so does that mean we need to make a new resolution, or we need to update this resolution that we signed?
I don't follow.
Well, we signed this saying that you could only spend 35,000 and it had to be done by the date, and that didn't happen. So do we need to make a new resolution for this? Or do we need to update this current resolution, or do we not need a resolution?
So I don't have the former resolution before me, but my recollection was that there was no authority given to exceed the amount in that contract. You are now, unless it came back to the board, it has now come back to the board. The board is making a motion to approve an additional $50,000 and change to complete it. That, in my mind, is an appropriate action. The resolution was meant to limit staff's ability to go above those contracted amounts. So if the board approves it, that is a legitimate action. If you want to memorialize that by resolution, we can certainly bring it back at the next meeting to ratify. But you can certainly make a motion right now to approve that additional amount.
I think that's what our motion is that's on the table, right? Right. Yeah. Okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Unanimous. Thank you, Ms. Myers. All right. Mr. Hannah.
Good evening, Commissioners and the public. Here to present the monthly Treasurer's Report, Scott Hanna, Anastasia Mosquito Control District CFO.
Sorry, Mr.
Oh, that's okay.
Was everyone good?
All right.
I think the treasurer's report and the other one, they were switched in the book, so.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
That was, it's fine. We've all got it.
Okay, great. So basically, based on the bank reconciliations, the cash ending balance for the total 4 accounts is $9.2 million, which is comprised of comprises of the operating local fund of 1.4 million, and that's based on the sweep account, not letting it go above or below 1.5. So it's at 1,484,184. It depends when the close of business is, and if it hits a weekend, then sometimes it dips just a little bit below the 1.5 million mark. And then the excess funds go into the sweep account so they can do a return on investment. The next one is so the sweep account at the end of October had 1.5. The Florida Prime SBA, formerly we were addressing it as, is 5.9 million. Bank of America, that's an additional bill paying operating account. That has $236,011.78. The next thing is sources of income. November, we did have this month that we're currently in, not October, that's just passed. We have had more substantial tax revenues. It was like over 300,000. That'll be on the next month's report, but just had a little bit trickle in for taxes of $5,105.95. Usually that's something left over from the last year. Sometimes it's a little bit of interest that accrues on a late payment or something that was collected that was previously written off. Florida Prime return on investment is $25,498. The Wells Fargo sweep account return on investment $13,066. And I was going to actually just look what those rates are. So give me a second. So the sweep account annualized, it's about 4.7% return on investment. And the SBA, which has traditionally been a little higher, is 5.04% return on investment annualized. Right now, I guess the feds are still looking at what to do as far as the interest rates. Everything's following the Federal Reserve rate. And now that we have a new president, and they've talked about reducing it, but I guess they're looking at things that are going to affect the economy, like tariffs and things like that, when the new president comes in. So I think they're still really hesitant to bring the rates down, because once you have a lot of tariffs, that could cause more inflation because the cost of goods will rise. So we still might be seeing some high returns on investment. Other sources of income, there was a small amount of grant money. Dr. Qualls did some kind of bug lessons consult. Scrap metals, like $18. DBEC donations, $53, and then concessions, $619.96. And then below that, it presented, it's only 1 month for this year, the October DBEC Center income statement for the month. And actually, we do have a budget, which we've lined it up with, and that's going to be a learning curve as for what budget is the best budget for that center as time progresses. There's no budget amendment this month. Not sure if anybody has any questions.
Anybody have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
For the DBEC, so for the budget items, like have we been able to see how close we are, like each month with costs like utilities and, is it pretty similar each month?
Actually, in October, we obviously, I guess, didn't get the electric bill for the first. I'd have to look back at last year's, because I don't have this is just 1 month, and obviously, I guess the electric bill, maybe that came in the last day of the month and it trickled into November. So there's no electric even reflected on there. I can email you that and break it down by month. And actually, what I can do is I can
or
pull,
the next meeting.
or I can pull the history.
Just if we could try to find,
Yeah, because we have a separate
amount
FPL
budget.
account, so I can pull the utility specifically to that, to the
Okay.
DVEC. And so that's basically where that's at. as time progresses, there'll be more of a history. We'll be able to align budget and what we're bringing in. But, I mean, the main thing is it's not a profit center. So us really analyzing what it's doing, they're going to be sunk costs just to run it for the public. It's not like we're trying to show that we're making money because there was no admission fee agreed to.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions?
And we don't have any reconciliations this month.
You mean bank reconcile?
Yeah.
Actually, they all follow this. They're after the treasurer's report. You see, they're all the bank reconciles. And then actually, I've even included the Wells Fargo statement. I've been doing that the last like 6 months, doing the whole 7-page Wells Fargo statement, because there's a lot more complexities to the reconciling it. It's been more of a challenge. In fact, with the sweep account and then the bill pay, there's a lot of money going in and out of the account. So it's gotten more complicated. In fact, I even do a spreadsheet where I just do journal entries for the sweep account reconcile. And I actually included that spreadsheet. It's kind of a labyrinth but if you look at it, everything reconciles and ties out.
Is there a budget amendment?
No, there wasn't. It's because it's so early in the year. It's October.
Okay.
We're
We're
still
done.
plenty of
We're
money.
starting the year.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Henry. Does
Thank
anybody else
you.
have questions? All right.
All right,
Thank you
thank
so much. Dr. Shi.
Thank you. Yeah, first thing, really, thank you, appreciate your employee hard work. This year, since 2016 Hurricane Wilma and 2017 Hurricane Matthew, this is the last 4 years. This is the most worst year for mosquito. We will have 4 hurricanes past. We don't have a physical damage, but it rain every day. Our truck, sometimes one truck caught over 13,000 mosquitoes.
What?
So can you believe that? You saw the Facebook and put it there, the missile, we put it there. It's just like a weird mosquito, yeah. So that's years, every day rain. So that's work very hard. Really supported, gave the Christmas bonus, just $800 for each employee. Also gave a seasonal employee, depending on how long service. Also this year gave we have 5 people working for 5 years, based on 7 years, $100 for each. Also that some manager award, each section we pick up. Also a couple students win the FMC award for presentation, so give the manager. Also 2 outstanding employees, and the ground operation manager, Dina Oliver, and the current directors, Morgan Pilot, Strong Pilot, Morgan Dewey. So $2,000 for each for the outstanding employee for that. So any question, I think saying we have all the support.
Okay. Commissioner Brandhurst.
Yes. I'd like to make a point that the commissioners have been paid $400 a month since 1981. The only opportunity we have for additional income is the Christmas bonus. We've received the same Christmas bonus since 1981. It's simply not fair. Employees receive a raise every year. They receive a cost of living adjustment, and we receive nothing. I'd like to make a motion that the Christmas bonus for commissioners be changed this year to $500 for every year served.
Commissioner.
That's my motion.
Just for my comment, is that's a state mandated thing, so that's not something we can change the pay, that has
I
to
know
be
we
a
can't
state
change the
statute.
pay, but we can change the Christmas bonus,
Yeah,
okay? So my motion is, I'll repeat it again, $500 for every year served.
Do we have a second?
I think it's wasteful, so I'm not going to second it.
I'm afraid it didn't pass. All right. Do
I-
we need to make a motion to,
Yeah.
to approve the?
We haven't,
Chris
we're
Abans,
waiting for a second.
Commissioner,
You didn't get a second.
$800 incurred, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I need a motion that, the Chris Abans present.
I'd like to make a comment first.
Yes, please.
Okay. I just want to say, we have wonderful, wonderful, hardworking employees. I'm glad to see the awards and, and the incentives. I personally would like to see maybe a $200 increase across the board for the Christmas checks, excuse me. And so I would like to make a motion to just change it a little bit, just up it $200 across for the.
To every
for the-
single person individually, or
To every
are we
person for
also
the-
adding that to the award?
Not to the awards, just to the Christmas ones, just to the Christmas checks. So just adding 200 to each.
So the general consensus would be, the most, is 800, so then it'd go up to 1,000.
It'd be, right.
For
Some of
everyone?
them are different, so just, I guess, 200.
Yeah, there's some that are 400, some that are 5, just.
Right, so they would get a bump 200. So that's what my motion would be.
Okay.
Second.
And the seasonal, workers would also get the extra 200?
Yes.
Is that what we're?
said yes.
Yes, okay. So I just want to make sure.
So hopefully they bought everybody on the sheet. Okay, that's good, yeah.
All right,
I'll second the motion.
all right. All in favor? Okay, pass.
And just while we're on here, that, the 5-year, step up, which is like the reward in our pay plan, that I dislike. But for 5 years working here, it's only $100 bonus, and I just think it's like almost a slap in the face. So that's one of the things that we need to, when we get the HR company to look over and update these kind of, merit raises and stuff. And thank you to all the employees.
I think we do need to take another look at the step plan.
Okay. Are we making a motion then, or are we just going to discuss it later?
The what?
I'm not making any
We made-
motion,
The
but
step.
Oh, no, the step plan is for when we get the HR company.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's.
I was just putting it in your, so you can remember it.
All right, so do we need to vote on the director's recommendation for the military?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You-
Okay.
it's a motion, just a motion already.
Yeah, we
Oh,
just
okay, I
did.
thought
You need to prove, you
They-
vote.
You guys
we did
voted.
approve it.
Everything's voted. I think you can move on to new business number 2.
Yeah, we need to approve it.
All right.
You need a vote, just two motions. you need a
Yeah.
vote.
They-
So that, yeah, because we need a motion on the recommendation to, for the veteran and military families. Too.
Make a motion that we approve Dr. Shu's recommendation for military families.
Okay. Do we have a second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Well, I just have
We
a
didn't
question
finish.
for the lawyer.
Okay. Ms. Myers?
I'm listening.
So do we need to make sure that there's any legal loops or anything in this? And just for the general public, we're asking because we have a couple of workers that use their own insurance through the military instead of our own health insurance. And since we pay for their deductibles, that's money that's saved for the district. And in 2024, it saved the district $108,000. So this motion here is to pay the employees that use the military insurance $5,000 each for the savings cost of that. So is that legally fine?
I would like to take the opportunity to sign the express authority, whether it's in your policies or the statute. I am not aware of any offhand.
Well, I just don't want anyone to come back and say
We did.
well, we didn't give it to anyone else that didn't use their insurance this year or anything like that, so.
So do we want to hold off on that, or do you recommend we hold off on that, Ms. Myers, or should we go ahead?
If you have concerns about it, I would certainly like to take the opportunity to look into it a little bit more.
Okay, so let's table that till next meeting,
Are you guys?
okay?
I just don't want it to come up.
Yeah, we don't want it
Just
to come
wanna
back
be
to haunt
correct,
us.
that's all.
All right. Dr. Shu,
Report.
your report, yes.
Thank you. I just talking about the mosquito season. Since this week slowed down a little cool, the cold. So we contract the air spray. State government use the contract with VDCI. So contract November 1st and November 2nd. Treated 260,000 acre. So this time to knock down mosquito population very well, effective. So we requested the study, the total study will spend over 1 million acre. So that's a bigger help for them. We didn't pay anything. So lucky we have our Department of Health and the county administrator are about support, so they can get approved. Yeah, that's competition about that. Other thing, before last week, Florida Mosquito Control Association and the AMCD, and the two students get an award, and Mr. Weaver and finished his president term and received a President Appreciation Award, FMCA, and Doug Court elected as a regional director. Congratulations there. So that's the FMC is really started impacted in the Florida mosquito control and the American mosquito control, also in the world. So after next week, WHO, GDR invited me, consult the PR percent, just to give them some kind of talking AMCD program. And this AMCD really is a very, very, very good impact in the nation, the world. And last couple of days, so we have from Mali, Germany, and Czech, the scientists are coming to visit the collaboration project there. Also last month, we have a professor too from Taiwan University, and they're coming for 2 months for some kind of experiment and cooperation. So it's very good for us. They work very hard, unbelievable. So they brought lots of new idea and produce quickly lots of results. So they're surprised. So before yesterday, district held the CDC and the Gulf South the training center. It's University of Florida and Florida A&M University, include the teacher and over 25 people, 21 graduate student and undergraduate student in entomology, hope for the future more interested in medical entomology. So that's the basic information. Also, we hired a new pilot and Mr. Lee Carter. We interviewed 4. He's ranked number 1 and our community support. He's currently is Jackson Mosquito Control, almost 6 years, has every license. But he asked the salary is very low, so I offered him to 85. He very happy accept. So that's hopefully and cooperation together. Also congratulations, Mr. Ralph Brown and from AP Mechanicus, promotion aviation manager, and also congratulations Mr. Morgan and Dwayne from the field surveillance technician and the started drone pilot, and also our drone program finally started working. And Tuesday, we started supply lab site in Ireland for first test use. That's the mixture almost over a year and a half. Finally, we work, ensure everything. Also have several people get a very good training, and AP mechanical and in Dallas for 2 weeks training. So he will be back this week. And Morgan DeWitt get a training, and just 2 days per week, or 1 day per week. He started training for related to helicopter anything. Also, our neighbor county, that the flag mosquito control GC, the pilot, coming over, join the interview, and also test fly out the helicopter every 2 weeks. We need to fly the helicopter. And today he come try to test it again. So it's everything seems pretty good. So hopefully we'll air program shiny again. So as I knew, 2026, I will be Florida Mosquito Control Association flying class will host the second air program training here. Thank you.
Thank you.
We had a great turnout last
Congratulations,
time.
and Commissioner Gina, they get the election. Congratulations. TC will be my new boss. Congratulations. Other thing, I really thank you for your volunteer and Sanjay and Phil. Thank you very much. She volunteered very hard. Well, lots of idea.
All right.
I learned from her lots.
All
Thank you.
Do you want to say anything?
Will you go to the, thank you.
I'm like putting you on the spot here, sorry.
I came back in June when I brought my 8 grandkids here, and I walked in and I've told Rudy and the other folks I was smitten. And I knew I had to do something to be part of this. I know nothing about entomology except what I've learned over being under Jency's wing and the rest of the folks who work here. But to see the awe and the joy and the radical amazement, both in the children and when their parents engage with them, and we see interactions that we don't typically get to see. So it's been, as you said, it's St. Augustine's best kept secret, and it being the only one in the nation, we've got to do something to let the world know who we are, what we do, and it's a joy to everyone who enters its doors. And it's my happy place.
Well, thank you so
Thank you for
much.
being there.
Yeah, really. All right. Ms. Myers, do you have a report?
Just 2 things. I do plan to attend the December meeting in person. And also my firm is annually hosts the state required 4 hours ethics training. So if you didn't get it at DOT or otherwise, you are welcome to come to AMCD Beach on December 16th to get your ethics training. Just let me know and I'll make sure you're on the list.
All right. Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you so much.
And Ms. Myers, for the last thing that we talked about with the veterans bonus, can you have that for us at the next meeting?
Oh, yeah, I'll look at it this week.
Okay.
Thank you. Commissioner comments. Ms. LeBlanc, do you have any comments?
I just want to thank the staff for their hard work, and I'm going to leave it at that.
Ms. Brandhurst?
I'd like to congratulate Commissioner Gardner, Commissioner Blanc on their reelection, and TJ Mazzotto on his election to my seat.
Trish?
Oh, congratulations to everyone. Welcome to the board. Thank you for coming to past meetings so you can be familiar with what's happening here and you can be ready for your seat. So I appreciate that. I'm sure everyone else appreciates that as well. And thank you, he's not here, but I want to say thank you to Richard because it has been a very difficult time doing this education center, as I think everyone in this room knows, and he's had to bear a lot of the hassle of that. And just so you know, there was an apology letter written to Commissioner Gleason from Richard. And I just want to say that I appreciate everyone's hard work, and I can't wait to finish that center and have it open and have that behind us and start working on our new aerial program. And especially our education team is, I mean, they're knocking it out of the park. We've got videos, we've got social media, we got everything. There's at least one activity open for the public to do every week. Every Sunday, there's a hands-on activity. I mean, they don't stop, and it's really great. And so I really appreciate it. And I know that you all are putting blood, sweat, and tears into that place. So thank you very much, Mitzi.
All right. On that note, the meeting is adjourned.